Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hanging with My Peeps. So, welcome to Hanging with My Peeps, and today's topic is, why do bad things happen to good people?
I think that's a question that every one of us gets asked by sometimes well-meaning, friends. Sometimes it's just people trolling too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We hear it both directions, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why do bad things happen to good people? And nobody ever said that we would suddenly have a life of ease when we started following Christ, did they?
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard that.
No. As a matter of fact, I think things get harder. Because from the test is more.
Yeah, from a believer standpoint, I mean, the devil already has the people who don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's already got that. He doesn't need to
they're not a
mess with them
challenge.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah, the ones that he wants are those of us who are following.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the ones he's going to throw the tests at. Now he'll throw stumbling blocks in front of the non-believers to keep them from believing.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps them. But for those of us who believe, I mean, he's going to throw things at us just for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things about it is that just because we started believing doesn't mean what was it Jesus said in Matthew? Remember, they hated me first before they hated you.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that question is always asked by people who may not be following Christ, and they're referring to just maybe anyone in the world. Like if something happened to a little baby, or they say, well, that little baby's innocent. Why would God allow something like that to happen? Or just a person just going about their daily life, not necessarily bothering anybody, going to their daily routine, and something bad happens. They get in an accident. Yep.
Yeah, it's these challenges.
And then the question is, why would God allow that to happen? Why? And of course, people use that in a way to try to discredit.
Right. Yeah.
Whether it's God or the Bible, they have their motivation.
Why do children get cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the most innocent among us. Why do they get cancer? And ultimately, it's like in the end, the best answer I have for them is, I don't know.
Right. Well, there was a situation in the Bible where there was a child who was possessed in the Bible, and
I just watched
whatever
that
was in them, demon would cast the child in fire.
Yeah,
and it had control over the child, and Jesus was asked the question, was it the parents who sinned, or was it this child that sinned? Is that why this is happening to the child? And Jesus said, it's not because the parents sinned, it's not because of a sin of the child, it was because in that God would be glorified. Not that the child is, being possessed, that glorifies God, but there was an opportunity for God to deliver that child and to show that, he is the one who is really in control.
Yeah.
And I think
the child wasn't in control. The parents wasn't in control. They couldn't deal with this attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's where where they missed it, and a lot of times we miss it. We don't see what's going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
this is true. Yeah, and I think too that the Bible does say it rains on the just and the unjust, and the reason why bad things happen to good people is because it rains on the just and the unjust. We're not immune to anything that happens in this world. And God doesn't get someone sick or allow sickness to cause someone pain and punishment. I think okay. So when people are in dire straits and people are like at their last leg, you always hear, "God help me."
Mm-hmm.
And, do people actually mean that, or is it just something that's said? So I think that, our inner self knows that God can help us, knows that God can save, because no one says, "Oh, Buddha help me," "Oh, Satan help me." They always say, "God help me." So people know.
Yeah.
And, so I think it's all about faith, that God wants us to get closer to him and wants us to want him and to look to him, and say, "Hey, I need you. My kid just died. I need you. I can't, I don't know what else. I don't know where else to turn, or something, or a parent or something." And, that's how I look at it. Is just, he just wants us to come to him, and and he'll make us stronger. It hurts and things like that, but it's not out of punishment or anything like that. But it's all because of sin. Basically, it's all due to sin. That's
It's well, is it all? Yes, yeah. But while you were speaking, Joseph popped in my head. The youngest actually Benjamin was the youngest, correct? Of Jacob. Look what he's gone through. He was. I could see that Israel sat there and talked with Joseph, and shared with him his faith of his experience with God and the promises that were sent down from Abraham. Well, actually from Noah, from Noah down to to Joseph, and I say that because when I sit and talk with my son, Joseph had to have developed a strong faith in God, and then things start happening to him too bad. His brothers.
And specifically, we're talking about
we're
not talking about Joseph, the father of Jesus. Am I quiet?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, no.
We talked about
Yeah,
Joseph.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I was just specifically, we're talking about Joseph. Not,
just to let the people know who we're talking.
So the people understand we're talking about Joseph, not the father of Jesus.
Yeah.
No.
Father.
He's hardly ever mentioned, so I don't know if
we're talking
like that.
Joseph, the son of Jacob.
Right, and who was and
yes.
You're right, but he did go through so much. He was set upon by his brothers.
Oh my God, he went through a lot.
And he was
sold
put in prison.
Sold into slavery by his brothers.
By your own family.
First, they attempted to kill him, and when he didn't die, they sold him into slavery. Well, he ends up with he's showing a talent of being able to interpret dreams by God, and ends up being accused of attacking his boss's wife,
his boss's wife.
Yeah.
And just all these horrible things.
And ends up going to prison. Yeah.
Ends up being in prison.
And it came out for the glory of Jesus.
Yeah, because he kept
Jesus, because God has everything. Yeah. Yes, bad things happen in life, and you.
But that was an opportunity for miraculous.
It rains on the just.
It just seemed like an impossible situation.
Exactly.
It did, and it was. I mean, the things he was going through the entire time, he could have. Given up. Completely.
Given up. Yeah. Yep.
And he didn't. He didn't.
He stayed.
James is dancing.
Yeah, you need to clean. You need to.
No, I made the mistake and hit the controller.
Okay, so
it's all right. It's a VR.
Yeah, it's all good. So and I'll give you a real life example. For me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else because we all have our situations. And I know many of your situations, and of course you choose to air them out as you choose. But my wife, she had a stroke 20 years ago. Okay, it was a debilitating stroke. She's in a wheelchair to this day. She cannot speak properly to this day. Okay, we don't have two-way conversations to this day for 20 years. Okay, I mean, she's still my wife. She's still there. She's still the woman that I fell in love with. She's still, but I mean, there's all of this going on, and there's people that have looked at me and said, Cameron, how can you be a Christian after God did that to you? And there you have the dichotomy.
Right? Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
The issue that they have that they don't understand. God didn't do this to her.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. I'm not saying that the devil did it either.
Yeah, it was something that happened. It was something
that
happened.
And would we prefer other things? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, when bad things happen, people are like, "Oh, it's God's fault that it happened to us. It's not him."
Is God all powerful and in charge? God has given us free will, and we've abused it. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
And you ever watched the movie Bruce Almighty?
Yeah.
Hilarious movie. I love Jim Carrey.
I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah.
Yeah. So at one point in time, this is towards the end of the movie. Jim Carrey is he's given up. He's tired, and he's turning himself to God. God, you take back control. And he's in the middle of a road, and a truck hits him. Right? And it's so happy that he's alive, blah, 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 blah. And God does come up to him and talk to him. He has an opportunity with God, and he's with God again, and he's like, why is this happening? He's like, Bruce, you can't lay down in the middle of the road and not expect to get hit by a truck. That's just, I mean.
Oh my goodness! Now I have to watch it again.
Exactly.
I have it too. I have the movie right there.
You can't expect to lay down in the middle of the road and not expect to be hit by a truck.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of a thing. We are in this world. I mean, we have germs. We have sickness. We treat ourselves wrong. We eat wrong. How many of us have eaten something from a box in the past day or two? Hello, Do you think that's healthy?
Yeah. I mean, we do. Yeah, we do stuff to ourselves. Yeah, we do stuff to ourselves. Other people do stuff. There's no really getting around being affected by either something that we, like I said, we do it ourselves or other people do. Yeah. And it's a part of life. Yeah. And
our bodies are made for certain things and not made for certain things. And we have and I'm telling you, you start reading the ingredients and what it actually does to you. You're going to be like, those people that are preppers and are kind of freaking out and doing the homesteading and growing all their own food and they just seem crazy and they're raising chickens and all that. They might have something going on.
Oh, they definitely have something going on.
Because we're eating all this processed stuff, lots of sugar. Find something in the U.S. that isn't made with corn syrup, okay?
Yeah.
And more chemical today.
Yeah,
which is most likely
purposeful. You never know what's going to do to us.
And then we complain about people getting cancer. I mean...
It happens. Yeah, it happens. I mean, you got to eat. You got to eat, though, because not everyone can afford...
I'm not arguing with it. I mean, my food tonight...
No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm just saying it's kind of a planned thing, most likely, to keep people sick. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's another discussion. Like, don't let me get started on them people. But you know what I'm saying? It's like
So, but I'm just saying, we bad things are happening because, and I think people are not willing to take their own level of blame in a situation of why did bad things happen to me? Well, most of the bad things that I can look back in my life on, I can point the finger right back at me for the reason the bad thing happened to me. Okay? Whether it was because of my addictions with alcohol and drugs that I had, or whether it was because I was just a jerk, or whether it was because I was acting stupid, or what. I think most of the things, or I just, I ignored this thing for too long, and now it came back, and guess what? You shouldn't have ignored that problem. It's coming back to get you. So guess whose fault it is? Could have taken care of it when it was a tiny problem, but you left it alone. And now it's a big
let it
problem.
get. We let that snowball get bigger.
Exactly,
But,
and so,
yeah,
I don't argue with the concept that, little babies that die, it's a horrible tragedy, and it rips families apart when things like that happen. And ultimately, when somebody says, "How can God let that happen?" We look deeper into things and we say, "Who actually let that happen?" They can't say that to a parent that just lost their child. You can't do that. Okay, that's a heartless, cruel thing to do.
Yeah, I think it's something that happened.
Yeah, it's hard when it happens to like children or like babies, because like you were just saying, when we as adults we make certain decisions and choices in life that there are consequences for. You see, but it's a difference when you're looking at a little baby.
It's a baby.
He's just laying there. Yeah. It doesn't really make any decisions. It doesn't. Say anything or do anything or offend anybody or attack anybody or use drugs. Or drink or eat wrong. It has to be taken care of. It has to be protected. It has to be transported by someone else. You see.
Yeah.
I mean, as a parent, everyone knows that a parent, unless they got some serious issues, isn't going to deliberately do damage to their child.
Yeah.
So why would they think that God would do something like this? Who loves
exactly?
us?
Yeah. I mean, it's right in there. Who and anybody. If their son came up looking for bread, who would hand them a snake? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like,
exactly.
If the child asked to follow for an egg, would God give him a snake? Like you said, no.
Yeah. No. And so this is
and it is. Yeah. I mean, it's like this sad thing. Like, okay, so for someone who is like Christian, and we know how, how when someone dies who's saved, now babies are automatically saved, we know they automatically go to heaven, but see, a lot of people that don't know, a lot of people just think you die and that's it, so they're mourning, just like you said, don't mourn like like the unbelievers do. The thing is, that reason why it's so sad is because we're with them and we miss them. It's all a personal thing that we're not going to see them anymore, and we don't like loss. No, I mean,
no, we don't.
We don't like loss of any kind. You lose $10, you're like, we don't like loss of any kind, and losing a child especially is hard to fathom. Now, if someone's like in their 90s, you can, you're like, okay, that's a natural thing. But I think it all boils down to knowing Christ and how death is and what happens after death, and that you'll see that person again if they're saved. So, and then I guess, does it go along too with they would say our children are not their own, they're God's, you know what I mean? they're God's. We're just entrusted with taking care of them and raising them, and then there's the other thing he says is, do not love other people more than God. So I don't, but we do. But now, is that a point of don't be? Because I don't know how you cannot be too attached. I don't know. That's a tough one. Like, don't love the world more than him. Right. That I get.
There's a perspective issue. Those of us who have had kids, and those of us who have been kids. All right, so. And who, we tend to put all of we invest in our children and our spouses and our jobs. All of those things have the ability to let you down. Every one of them. Your children, Lord knows I let my parents down several times.
Yeah, no, I did not. Okay.
You know what I mean? And your job. Who's lost a job for, you thought you were doing great, but some reason you lost the job, but you were laid off for no fault of your own, or something was going on. You had no idea it was a problem, right? And so now you lost your job, and how stressful is that? So your job just let you down. Spouses, what's the divorce rate these days? 50%?
Man.
There's
a lot of loss when you think
there's a lot of loss.
A lot of loss.
What will not let you down out of everything?
Yep, God won't let you down.
God won't let you down.
And that's the thing. That's the key to everything. Yeah, I mean,
so when you look at these things, no matter what, He's made promises to us. And there are things he's and there are times in the Bible where He says, put this to the test.
Right.
I will take what you give, and I will and I will compress it. I will shake it up, and it will be overflowing, return back to you. And when He says, "I will take what you give," He's not just talking about your money,
right?
Okay, because it's kind of often referred to as tithing, but there's way more to it than that. Because what you give to God is your heart,
right? Yep.
Because it's all that you have that's of any value to Him. So and you give that to Him, and he'll take that, he'll compress it down, he'll shake it up, and return that love to you overflowing. And He will not.
It's trust. I mean, it's it's trust. I mean, because when you think about it, a lot of times when situations happen, it's the first time it happened, so you don't know how you're going to react. You know what I mean? Because it's all new to you. And that's the whole point. And the whole, and at first things may be hard to just say, oh, I'm going to lean on God, because you're just in shock that this thing happened. You're going through this period of like, what happened? You know what I mean? And that's where it comes in, and where we have to just like totally bypass that, as hard as it may be, and look to Him. Because I could say it now, and then something devastating can happen, and I may not first go, oh, like God. I might just, I might be like in shock. You know what I mean? Like what in the world? What now? What do I do? You know what I mean?
You're not going to thank God for a tragedy that just happened.
Right? Yeah. You're not going to thank Him. It's just, we just have to just like remember to look to Him when that happens, because a lot of times we can be in like this good season where it's like, okay, and then all of a sudden something hits, and something will hit at some point in time.
We're gonna get broadsided.
Yeah, and we have to come to Him, and I was just, I was just like, I'm doing another message, obviously, and it's just basically how wicked people really are. Because I was just like listening to another podcast, and I'm like, oh my goodness, during the millennial reign, if I say it, millennium reign or whatever, there's going to be people that are born, and sin's still going to be there, right? And people are still, even after living in this utopia, basically, with Jesus they're still reigning. Right. They're still going to be like, they're still going to choose
sort
Satan.
of like a taste of heaven on earth.
And so when Satan is loose, then people are still going to go with Satan. Like, good golly, how deep are we? Like, the heart is wicked. Like, if you have a taste of utopia
desperately wicked, for that long,
and you still choose like evil.
So that's how messed up this world is. The evil is self-indulgent. It feeds you the lies of your own self-importance, and it tells you it tells you do what feels right.
Yep.
Trust your heart. That's what the lies come from. Because those of us who maybe we matured a little bit in our belief, but we know that our hearts is wicked. Our hearts are wicked. They're
we
bad.
Want what we want when we want it.
You cannot trust your heart. My heart wants $1 million, no matter how it comes to me. Okay, My heart wants to not, wants easy street.
Yeah,
My
I don't
heart-
want any
my
pain.
heart-
I don't want.
Is
else,
it
I don't want that.
the heart or is it the flesh? Because we
It is
read
the
the
flesh.
The
Bible how
flesh.
God
Same,
renews
yeah,
our,
the flesh.
Probably both.
Yeah.
It's the
gives us a
flesh.
Yeah.
heart.
Like both.
It
Yeah,
is, it is the flesh.
like Johnny
It
said,
is
It's a
the
both,
flesh.
continual war within you. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but there's
And
a
it's also
continual
has
war
something to do
within me.
with the mind
Yep.
also, because the mind have to be renewed.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
because really the
But
mind does
it's
it
the
first. The
heart
mind
that God
thinks
comes
it.
to change.
Yeah, the mind
Yeah,
thinks it,
right.
and then the
And then
body
the pro-
kind
then
of
you
carries
sort
it
of-
out. So
It's working on the inside out.
yeah.
He's-
So if you can
he's-
change your
he's doing
mind,
the
then the
work on
body
inside
won't
of it.
like. Yeah, the body won't like
Yeah.
do that.
Charlie?
But
or
a
a new
Yeah,
spirit.
go ahead, Charlie. You were saying something.
You're talking about, how you're just, you're in conflict at all times, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Even times of in prayer. It's. Yeah, I don't know about
No,
it's
absolutely.
continual. It's a continual spiritual warfare. There's a lot of times I'll go to my mom and she'll say something, and I know she's fighting with the devil within thoughts. I'll go, "What, Ma?" She'll go, "Nothing. You know what I'm doing." Because it's there. It's continual warfare.
Yep. And yeah,
Yeah, it
and
stinks.
he's the prince. He's the prince of lies, and he'll tell you that it's okay. It's just like when my wife first had her stroke in the first few years, there were people telling me all kinds of things that I wanted to hear. It's like my drinking and stuff like that, and geez, can't what? You're going to get yourself a side piece and stuff like that. It's like.
man.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say I never did. There were some times the temptation was there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the temptation wasn't there at times. There were times that things were offered that.
Yeah, right.
Thankfully,
people
I
when they come with
had
their
enough
bright
of the spirit.
ideas,
I had enough of the spirit
Yeah.
to say no, and but the same exactly. But
Mhm.
it's but at the
But
same time,
but it happens, man.
But the devil in that
yeah,
is that is the people that come up and ask those questions and make you
Yeah,
question
that's-
yourself.
that's
Right.
the thing. How
right.
how crude do they have to be to say that?
Yeah, and then they say things like, hey man, you deserve to have a few drinks. You got it going on and everything. You need to cut loose sometimes. I think it's like
That was the devil in my head
exactly.
going. It's like
yeah.
you're like not feel. You're having a hard time. Have a drink.
Mhm.
Hey, it's Friday.
Exactly.
Have a drink. Well, now it's Saturday. Yeah,
Have a drink.
Have a drink. It's like
Because it's like
anything
an
that comes
escape.
up.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
way of
is.
escape.
Yeah, it's like
And
that.
it-
You just hear that voice. I put that in my testimony. I had I had devil's voice
Yeah.
in my head all the time because I
And
didn't
so-
want to do it. I hated doing what I was doing, and I was
And at the same time,
powerless to do
at
it,
no
you know?
point in time can the devil make us do it.
No,
So
No, he just plants that
it's
seed,
The
so-
sense of your own, you have to have the sense of your own responsibility in these things.
yeah,
You have to like I said, I said it early on in today was that, as in the talk today is that everything, all of those problems. I can just bring them right back to me.
Mhm.
I initiated a lot of the problems in my life, and whether it was because the devil was telling me something, or had somebody else say some comment, or what have you. It was still my choice.
Mhm.
Whether
yeah. It was still your choice.
Mhm.
But isn't it amazing that now, because that's what we do in the flesh, you know what I mean? That's what we do when we don't know Christ or we're not walking with Him. You know what I mean? That's it just kind of comes with the territory. You know what I mean? But now, we know better. Like, you can be tempted, but at least you're going to think twice about it now.
Yeah,
When before it was like, I'm just going to act on it.
Well, you have that option, You sort of
Yeah.
have that,
Yeah,
you can,
yeah.
it's sort of like in the Garden of Eden. It's sort of the same like within us when we're born again. We have that choice. You can either walk up this walk after the flesh, or you can walk after the spirit.
Because you know more now. You know more now. You know
you have an
that
alternative.
If you right, when before you did, but the only alternative was your flesh with flesh. Now you have your flesh with Christ. So
now,
which
but
one?
Now you also
Christ,
you also just tying in last weekend with this is we have the Spirit.
The Holy Spirit
will tell us and will give us the conviction of you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I think that's a bad idea. You know, I think it's don't look at those images online.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to help you in any way. So don't look there. Okay,
I was thinking about that today too.
But
I was thinking about that.
Even when I was in the world, I knew that something was wrong, but I couldn't stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely know.
That's because even then God had plans for you.
Yeah. And your conscience was telling you that.
Because anyone would know. Anyone would know.
Because we know.
If you really think about it, that you don't want to do. Because if that wasn't the case, you couldn't be held accountable.
Yeah, but, we have an innate. We know when we're doing wrong. If you're not, even if you're not, people that are out there in the world, they know what they're doing is wrong.
There are certain universals that are God acting. This is right and wrong, and it's like when you start talking to people, like what's right and wrong about it? Well, is it people right or wrong to kill babies?
Right.
It's wrong.
Right.
Okay. And why do we know this? Well, I mean, it's just society, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. You know in your heart, no matter how you think about it, there is nothing in there that makes you think that's a right thing to do.
But see, now here's another switch on that. Now, as the world is getting ready to do its final dance, people's minds are seared. So now you have people that generally don't think it's wrong to kill a baby.
Yes. And the way the devil did that again was as a prince of lies.
Yeah,
he lies about it, and he put the lies in their heads and twisted their minds.
And they truly think it's fine to do.
Yeah,
it's health care.
At first, it's just a little. It's just a piece of flesh. It's just.
It's not
really
a clump of cells, and that's it.
But you know what? But when you get to the point of is when you ask the question, well, how about the fourth trimester? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, what's the fourth trimester? That's after it's born.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Allowed to live. What's to turn into a baby?
That is a choice of the parents. That even after it's born, if it has if it has some kind of disability or something, or
some other things.
Simply don't feel like they want to raise the child. It can be terminated.
If your spouse makes you mad, is it right or wrong to smack your spouse around?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it right or wrong? And I think universally, we know it's wrong. Now, there's people that don't have control over themselves.
Exactly.
That's a different situation.
Because,
and then they'll tell the lies in their own head of, well, she made me do it.
No.
And now we have what's good is bad. What's right? Woe to those who call good bad and good evil good and good evil. And that's what we're doing now because Satan's like kind of forcing it down people's throat. If you don't agree with this, we're going to do this.
It's okay now to mutilate kids.
It's like
now
it's okay now for a 50-some-year-old man to be with a 6-year-old. It's like. We just called it minor attracted person. I mean, come on now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They changed the name to
he
thing.
He identifies as a teenager. He identifies as a child. He identifies as some kind of animal.
And that's kind of that whole concept of we take our identity in Christ.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Exactly.
And so that's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just. When you take your identity in Christ, you have the Spirit in you to say this is not only wrong, this is abhorrent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Exactly.
God finds this abhorrent. Mm-hmm. He doesn't find you abhorrent because you had an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't hate you.
Mm-hmm.
He hates the act, and he cries for you, and I cry for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we get our identity from.
Yeah.
The child who has been told by their teachers that they can they can identify this and that, and there's
all these things. So many people getting hurt.
And they've been told this by the teachers, they've been told this by the media, they're being told this by everybody, and now we have a whole lot of parents that are telling them the same thing.
Exactly.
And those of us who will stand up, we're the bad guys on this.
Right. Which brings us right back to the topic. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because, and that's what happens. I mean, you see, the preacher that got shot in the head a couple months ago, a couple weeks, actually, I heard it's been a month yet. He's recovering. He's like, I guess getting speech back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But stuff like that never should have happened. People that are trying to stand up for good, things are gonna be, going south for most people, because you don't agree with us, look what we can do to you, kind of thing. So and it is, but it's gonna be. There's
gonna come a time when it's gonna get harder and harder, and it's already difficult. Yeah. But now, now, it's there's thank God we live in this country. Where we can,
as bad as it's getting, thank God we live here. We have things that are keeping us legally safe. Right.
Exactly. Okay.
And there's a system that is established.
Exactly.
Even people who are not religious. That's the thing about it. Even though they're not religious, there's still the laws, there are courts, there are judges, there are lawyers.
Yeah.
There's a judicial system.
And we have all of this in place. Now, that protects us legally. Right. But that doesn't protect us from, our jobs. Okay? You say the wrong thing in the wrong job, and, you don't fit in here. We don't like your attitude. We don't like this. Right. You can lose your job.
Yeah. And even in that case, in this country, there are unions.
Your friends. Your friend circle can suddenly shift a lot. Okay. Okay. It's just and that's absolutely true. Your social circles. If you own a business, I'm working on starting a business. Okay. I have to balance certain things, but it's one thing I can't balance is my faith. It's gonna win. Okay. Yeah. So it's
it's not. That's not an option for change. I hear you.
Exactly. And it's do you want to do this? And it's and they will attack you for it. They will attack you. Ask the baker. Ask the baker in Eastern Washington about them attacking him.
Yeah.
For saying he wasn't going to bake a wedding cake.
Yeah.
Exactly, for homosexual marriage.
Yeah. It's like I have no problems with them. They can buy anything they want, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
that's a specific purpose.
Yeah, it's not like you can't have one. It's just that's my belief. It should be okay.
Yeah. Why not go someplace else then? Why big issue?
They started sending people in asking for the same thing to rack up his charges.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's
that's the attack.
Yeah, that's the attack, and that's the bad things happening to good people. Just bringing it right back to that. That's and
it does.
Because he's not, it's not about hate. Everyone wants to put it on hate. It's not about hate.
Nothing about hate involved there.
Christianity is the one that is more loving than anything. We're not told to go.
He wasn't attacking them. He wasn't trying to take anything from
he wasn't
them. He wasn't saying that they can't get married. He's just saying he didn't want to participate.
And when you think, Christianity is the most inclusive faith that there is. God says, we are told, come as you are. Mm-hmm. Okay, come as you are. It doesn't matter. And it's all that baggage, all that crap you deal with. It's like maybe you're a homosexual, or you're this, or you're that, or you're a thief, or you're a murderer. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, because even Jeffrey Dahmer saved. I don't know his heart. I wasn't in his heart. Me and him didn't go to school together. I don't know him, but only the Lord knows his heart. But hey,
I'm not saying
God says, "I will have mercy on whoever I will have mercy. He knows the true story of our heart.
That's right. He knows.
Regardless of
He
what
knows.
we say in our past,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of times I look back and I'm thankful for the bad things happened to me at that time, which directed me in another time.
It made you who you
Today.
are,
Exactly. Right.
and it gives
One of
you.
the
And
things
that's,
I don't try to judge nobody.
No.
Because this is how I see it. If God could save me, He could save anybody, as far as I know.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
I was
So
lost.
yeah, I mean, and we can even make this a subject, as a minor subject is can a homosexual be a Christian? I'll tell you right now, yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no
Right.
problems with that idea. Can a practicing alcoholic be a Christian? I was not a very good Christian, but I
was not a very good influence,
we
you know?
weren't.
Right.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
weren't like.
Christ.
We weren't
You know,
like
being
full. Like
made-
God was
Because even after
working
I got
on us.
saved, I still had
Yeah.
some bad things that I was
Yeah.
doing.
You had bad
know?
impulses that were still
Yeah.
there, and
But see,
when
yeah.
when I was actively drinking, and
that's what.
I
But
mean,
see, the
I
thing-
was not
the
very well
difference-
connected with God.
Yeah, but see, the difference is still seeking Him. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm an alcoholic. I'm drinking," and that's it.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
be done with
I mean,
it.
You know how they
That's
say,
it.
like in the Alcoholics
know.
Anonymous, I'm an alcoholic, and that's their confession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Like
and
they're
then leave it at
alcoholic for
that.
life. But
Because
that's
people
not,
go,
that's not what you want. That's not the type of
Right.
mindset you want.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
people
You wanna
go,
turn to
"Oh,
God
well,
to be. You don't want to be an alcoholic for life. You know?
Right,
I don't want to
exactly.
be
No.
a thief for life. I don't want to be a kleptomaniac. You know.
right."
No,
You see, I don't want to identify
Are you
with that.
following Jesus, or do you want Jesus to follow you?
exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need to
You know,
follow Jesus.
Jesus, exactly.
And the thing is once you've accepted Jesus, and the Spirit comes into you, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have
Yeah.
challenges. You're going to have. I always did this, and now I can't do that, and you're going to have resentments over it too. So and this is where being in an active church helps, and being being with being with other Christians helps.
But see, but you look at it though, you're going to have the desire to do better, because otherwise you
Yeah.
wouldn't have made that commitment to say,
That's
"Hey, I want to
absolutely
follow
right.
Christ." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because
You're going to
that
have
means
that
you're
desire,
ready to
right.
put.
And the
You're ready to
Spirit-
put that stuff aside
Yep.
and
the
whatnot.
Spirit's
Now,
gonna
is it
follow you.
easy?
But there's still sort of like a struggle, though.
Yeah, it's still
like
a
battle
struggle.
still going on.
But when you do that, then He's going to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
That's
Then
where
He's
that's-
going to help
that's
us,
the
and that's
difference.
the
That's
thing.
the difference.
Because He wants
Yeah.
us to come to Him with the heart of,
You
of
have to be
truth.
willing,
You know what I mean?
willing.
Be like,
You
yeah,
see.
willing heart.
Do
And
you
when
still
you
want
do
that
that,
old thing, or are you going to just give it all over to?
yeah.
Give it all to
Yeah.
Him.
But by the
it's-
time
and
you
it's
make
not-
that choice, like I said, I think you're basically willing to give that up. It's just
You're-
very
you're-
hard because your flesh wants to
it's
keep
just
doing it,
difficult, yeah.
but your mind
is exactly
and
what it
your
is.
heart
Yeah.
want to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Because I know that's how I was. My heart wanted to like stop drinking and doing all that, but my
Yep.
but my saliva was going, "Oh my gosh, it's Friday." What? You know what I
Exactly,
mean? And I was
Yeah.
still drinking,
Yeah.
but I was still,
What?
like, I was still like, reading and studying the best I could and everything
No.
like that, until I finally said, I can't do this anymore. And when I said that, bam! He like slapped the taste out of my mouth. I had no cravings, nothing after that.
Amen.
Almost had
Yeah.
forgotten that I drank. Like I had no
It wasn't there
nothing.
anymore, yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what he will just like.
He can.
Now he
that
doesn't
for
do
you.
that for everyone. Sometimes he will like slowly do things,
Yeah.
but he will do it. He
Some
will
people
do
he
it.
needs to do it that way.
Right,
Yeah.
Others he puts other tools in place.
right. Yep, exactly.
And
but he'll
so,
do it though.
Yeah, I hate to be
In
the
some
one to
cases,
say
it
it
may be
because I could
instantaneous,
keep
and
talking
in other
about
cases,
this
it might be
all night
gradual.
long.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we gotta.
It's in God's timing.
That's right.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
God's timing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because he knows if you're gonna make a say,
And
"Oh, I'm gonna do it,"
I also
and then
believe
you're
it all
gonna
has
like,
to do with how much we're willing,
right?
because God's not going to
Yeah.
force anything. He's not going to
No,
force it.
he's not.
No.
You see.
No, the Spirit is a gentleman. He comes knocking. He doesn't burst the door.
Yeah, he doesn't like bang your door down or something like that. So,
down. Right. Yeah.
well, we can
I
finish.
wish
We
he
can
would
finish
sometimes.
this one for the second, the second half. I don't know. We like sometimes because we get like, I don't know at how to even like just have an open topic. Just topic. We always have to have a foundation of a topic.
Having a foundation,
And then bring it.
definitely helps. Yeah.
But,
I definitely think that.
But for people that are listening, we always end up it goes off, and we just have conversation. That's just how we do, and it keeps it interesting. So all right, so anyone have any last?
Well,
I would say that. Yeah. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, in that, I like where the spirit is free.
Yeah.
The word says that where 2 or 3 are gathered, even though we're avatars and we're still a soul, and we're sharing the Holy Spirit, and we're allowing the Holy Spirit to come in.
Yeah.
I like it like that. I like it like that. To where it's not a set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
thing.
amazing.
Totally.
It's
that's why I put it. But that's why I put it out there, because people may be going, wait a minute, I thought the topic was this, but don't expect the topic to just stay topic, because when you start talking about something, then something else, you go, oh, wait a minute, you get a revelation about something else, and we talk about it, and that's how it rolls. You know what I mean?
And I would encourage anybody listening to this, if you have questions, if you have comments, put it down below in the comment section. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's Christianity is about community too. And so, you have questions, you want to know something, and we'll answer what we can. I mean, what we can't, if we do have the 3 magic words of I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Those are there sometimes, and so it's like I don't know, but I can try to find out for you. But if you have
one way to find out is in the Word.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pick up your Bible,
because it's like you can't. I know that people deal with things, and sometimes we look at things just from a natural perspective, but there are promises in the Word on how to deal with certain situations.
Yep.
You see,
so
spiritually.
Man. Yep.
All right.
All right. So we're getting ready to wrap it up, and I want to thank everyone for coming, and anyone who's watching, you can watch at Hanging with My Peeps on YouTube. Leave a comment, and if you have a topic that you want us to discuss, drop it in the comments. Okay. All right, everybody. Bye. Have a blessed Friday.